Happy Halloween! Hello everyone, Superstar Artemis Prime here with a Halloween special for everyone. Now, we've already established that Bennett the Sage is one of the worst anime reviewers on YouTube. This is my second video on him. The first was defending Evangelion from him. But if you thought that was bad, if you thought his reviews of Akira and Grave of the Fireflies were awful, you ain't seen shit yet. Because today, we're gonna take a look at one of my favorite horror movies of all time, in terms of anime that is, Perfect Blue, and how Bennett screws it up even more than he did on Akira and Grave of the Fireflies. So let's not waste any time, and let's get into it, in defense of Perfect Blue from Bennett the Sage.
That is why I feel a little hesitant with today's subject, Perfect Blue.
Some of you might be taking this to mean that I'm about to launch into my patently hilarious style of reviewing, where I shit on a well-loved classic and damn the consequences and fans.
Oh yeah! I mean, considering your track record, Sage, let me count to you the amount of good anime that you shit on, everybody loves, but only you hate because you think it's cool going against the grain. Let's see here. Akira, Grave of the Fireflies, Love Hana, Ranma 1/2, Inuyasha, Street Fighter 2, Golgo 13, Vampire Hunter D, Evangelion, and now the subject matter of today's video. Perfect Blue? Yeah, well, it's a perfect 10 of awfulness from Bennett the Sage.
But please, halt your angry typing for a few moments.
Too late! You're already gonna get those angry emails in just a few minutes.
Discussing in depth about the works of a recently deceased artist, in this case director Satoshi Kon, who passed away August 24th, 2010 of pancreatic cancer, you wind up walking a very fine line between a careful examination of their legacy and insulting the dead. So please bear this in mind when I say that Perfect Blue is a shade under from being mediocre. I know, I've heard it all before, but I just can't bring myself to actually like Perfect Blue. I know I'm gonna have to explain myself, and I will, but just know up front that I'm not going to be singing too many praises. Mima is a pop idol.
But we should be selling Mima as a pop idol. Mom, the pop idol image is suffocating me.
She's a pop idol, understand?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're no longer a pop idol.
Thank you for making that clear.
Annoyed already, Sage? Because that seems a bit nitpicky, don't you think? Are you really just grasping for straws to find as many flaws with this movie as possible?
Mima, tired of the life of a pop idol.
Wow, he really can't get over himself. He really doesn't like it when people call Mima a pop idol. I mean, yeah, I may be stating the obvious, but I didn't think it was that annoying, and nor should everyone else.
A good chunk of the film is devoted to Mima struggling to separate herself from the character she plays in the series. During the latter half of the second act, Mima continually shifts from on-set to her real life, unaware if she's Mima or her character. In theory, this simulates the confusion and paranoia that Mima is going through. But in practice, this eschewed sense of narrative pace makes the film feel like it's spinning its wheels in mud. By the third or fourth time Mima awakes to what she thinks is the real world, the strain on the audience's patience dwindles.
Yeah, did I forget to mention that I have a short attention span? That's why I can't pay attention to the game's story for long enough.
At points, it can get downright tedious watching Mima struggle through her delusions.
What I find interesting is that Bennett is under the assumption that Perfect Blue is completely made up of delusions, which is absolutely false. When Mima sees herself in her room, it's often when Rumi is dressed up as her. Things that have happened without Mima doing anything are almost Rumi's doing. I mean, the movie is as much about Mima losing sense of who she is as it is about Rumi taking over Mima's life.
I think this problem is the result of Perfect Blue being an adaptation of a novel, instead from an original screenplay.
Yes, he thinks it's a product of the adaptation, because just like Grave of the Fireflies, he's never read the fucking book. He's just repeating shit he's heard. He's heard people say Akira is a bad adaptation, so he's just repeating it. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
Perfect Blue was the only film that Satoshi Kon directed, but didn't write. And I think Kon's fascination of blurred realities was sort of crowbarred into the already established story. This makes for a film that's hard to be involved with. You can't let the plot envelop you without being jerked out of the story by the film telling us that the previous scene didn't matter and was only a delusion of Mima's.
Clearly missing the point of that scene. Almost every single purported delusion is absolutely necessary to the plot, as it's either showing Mima splitting apart further, or Rumi forcing her mind apart.
I'm sorry, there are no Gundams, or Pokemon, or epic martial arts battles.
If Rumi is so far gone that she honestly believes that she's Mima the pop idol, then how come she looks like she has it together for most of the film?
The answer is really simple. I mean, you assume that Rumi was sane the whole time when she's clearly not. Rumi has been running Mima's website the whole time, which is why she can contact Mimina. Rumi's been trying to save Mima's appearance as a pop idol by taking over her life piece by piece. The recreation of Mima's room in her own apartment, the running of her website, dressing and acting the same as her, and so on. She's outraged in Mima's place, where Mima just accepts her life being changed. But once again, like Akira and Grave of the Fireflies, Bennett clearly wasn't paying attention at all.
Winds up diminishing what Mima has gone through.
Mima is, by all intents and purposes, mentally broken. She hallucinates, loses track of days on end, she's hysterical and is prone to hurting herself. But after surviving Rumi attacking her, it's implied that Mima is over her psychosis, and the film ends on a happy note?
No, I'm the real thing.
Weren't you pissing your pants last week because you saw yourself dancing on street lamps?
Seriously, Homeboy here has been bitching from minute one that the film isn't explaining anything to him. Then, when the film blatantly explains itself to him, he fucking argues with the movie, then completely misunderstands what the film is trying to say.
This just removes all doubt and ambiguity and just makes everything she went through have that much less impact.
If Bennett was confused, all he had to do was not argue with the movie and pay fucking attention. Like I said before, that might have not made a difference either, because as we've seen with Grave of the Fireflies, Bennett can't connect dots. Fucking subtext goes right over his head. I'm starting to think during a film, Bennett needs someone to sit next to him constantly who can pause the movie every 15 minutes and explain to him what he just fucking saw.
Once again, like his review of Akira, Bennett thinks that because the movie has a terrible ending, that automatically ruins Mima up to that point, which is absolutely not true, because let me tell you the purpose of the ending. Mima talks in her character from the detective's drama voice that she's been acting in the whole time. She slipped out of her Mima personality in that of her acting career to save herself from becoming insane. She couldn't deal with being herself anymore, so she became someone else, showing the duality of Rumi's attempts to become Mima, because that is the theme of the movie, duality, something that Bennett knows nothing about.
Imagine being this guy's friend. It's probably annoying as fuck. I mean, if you went to a movie and he asked you how the movie was and you said the movie was shit, Bennett probably thinks you went to the theater, sat down, and they just showed you a picture of shit.
Hey Michael, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.